And I'm guilty of this. I'd like to ask everyone when you speak to please turn your microphone on. I just got nudged here. I had forgotten. Uh, First order of business will be the invocation, North Cleveland Baptist Church Minister of Adults, Bar Star. The Pledge of Allegiance will be given by Commissioner Denny Collins.
Let's pray together. God, we're just so thankful today for the men and women who faithfully serve Bradley County in leadership roles, and Lord, and their families. God, we pray a special blessing on them. Please provide these leaders with daily reminders of why they chose to dedicate their lives to public service, and use that commitment to encourage them. We ask that you draw near to them and give them wisdom and discernment in all that they do. Lord, grant them favor, increase their faith, and prepare them to pursue your excellence. And Lord, we just ask all these things in your precious Son's name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. I'd like to welcome John Thompson, American Legion representative for the veterans here. We appreciate all you do, especially the Veterans Cemetery and the Veterans Home. Doug Berry with the Chamber of Commerce, Dr. Cash with the school system, and Tom Collins, Road Superintendent. We welcome all of you here. Turning now to the mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good afternoon, everyone. I only have one thing to report in case you hadn't already gotten it, and that's the septic repair program that we give you a report on weekly. 90 properties are now in the process of being looked at and getting approved. Potential sewer hookups so far are 6. There's been 13 permits issued, 10 contracts are in place and are in the works, and of course, no projects have been completed yet. So after 3 weeks, they're moving right along. That's all I have, unless someone has a question or something for me.
Anyone have anything for the mayor?
Not, thank you.
Reports from committees and or districts. We'll start on the right with Commissioner Beatty.
Everything's looking pretty well in the first district. We met with septic tank contractors, me and a few of the commissioners the other day, and I thought we had a good turnout and answered all the questions need to be answered.
Commissioner Hughes.
Mr. Chairman, the ARP asked for the ARP funds that was passed for water. My understanding is when we voted for these funds, it was to supply water to the county, to give water to access to people that couldn't normally have it. And my question is for the mayor. The mayor, how many million are in that budget right now?
Adam, refresh my memory. 2.5 million, I believe, roughly, something like that.
And if I'm not wrong, at the end of next year, those funds, whatever's not spent, is gone. Is that correct?
We're supposed to spend it by then. You're right. Yes.
That's correct. My question is, there was a request came in that was for a location down the first district, and it was just $37,000. According to the request, the city is going to pay $18,750. We will be doing a matching on that and would supply at least, it says 2 residents, there's actually 3, there's 2 residents on the same property. What this is doing is actually finishing a road out that had ended. Now, in this request, they said the reason they requested is due to the proximity to 2 locations. One was a branch and one was another location down the McDonald area. Never claimed that the well was contaminated. They said they didn't drink the water. That's what's written on there. I don't understand why they were asked to get a test of their well. I thought our goal was to supply water to people. I didn't realize it was, you know, we'll supply it to these people, but not these people unless they test their water. If I'm wrong on this, please tell me, but this request, Mr. Chairman, I'm asking to have that request placed on the agenda for next week for the full commission to vote on.
That's your right, sir. And Lori, could you place it on the agenda, please? Go ahead, sir.
So this came to finance, and finance is working on it at the time. So if we're going to get into the practice that we can bring up something before it finishes to the committee, why even have committees? This is a question we've been asking for a couple of years now. So I'm happy to address the committee asked for the sample, because the information we got was that was the claim, if you will, that the well was contaminated, or if there was something to it. This is a little bit more abnormal than others. We have had others test wells, dry wells, I believe, or something like that. It's been years. I don't look at the story. But my concern is twofold. One, if we're going to bypass committees and just an individual commissioner brings something that will, again, why have committees? And two, we didn't just haphazardly ask for this well to be tested just because of the, you know, it's because based on what we were told, a claim was made that the landfill water is infringing upon this well's integrity or something like that. So we just want to know what we're getting into. That's why we asked. Now I'll let the other members of finance speak for, but I think it was a 5-0 request. So hopefully that answers or addresses that concern.
Mr. Chairman, I am looking at the request now, and nowhere in it does he claim that it's contaminated. He just talks about the proximity and says he does not drink the well water.
Commissioner Gilbert.
On the committee does the committee decide whether they get this water, or is it a committee to wait to see how much money's
The
going to be
committee
spent?
does all the research, and the financing pieces, gets with the utility companies and make sure that they're willing to do all the back behind the scenes stuff gets done, and then makes a formal recommendation to the full commission.
But the money's done been put up for this, right?
The money's been earmarked out of ARP already, yeah.
Okay.
We've already got the agreement, and we also said that we wouldn't touch the HCI or earmark, $30,000 a year until after all of the money from the ARP bucket has been used. Better to use the Fed money instead of local money first. So it's in the process. Nothing has been decided. It's not a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Right now, we are in research mode.
Commissioner Thompson, please.
Those people get their bills tested. Somebody, they recommend somebody to come in. Recommend them probably somebody, but they probably have to pay somebody.
Mr.
I don't
Chairman,
know.
Mr. Chairman, I've asked them the same question. I think I've got someone that can test it for them because they're curious themselves. However, what happens, because they never claimed that it was contaminated. So what happens if it comes back and it's not contaminated?
Then we were provided, I hate to say it, misinformation, right? I mean, that's what we were led to believe. If that is not accurate, then we'll adjust accordingly. But that's what we were told.
Commissioner Gilbert.
One other question. So if he gets water, and then what if his well dries up?
Well, if he gets water,
I mean,
he won't use his well
if he
anymore.
don't get water, and then 2 years down the road, his well dries up.
Then we're always going to have the HCI money. As soon as the federal money is quote unquote dried up, we're going back to the HCI. And that's, you know, we'll continue with water projects until the end of time, really, I guess. But
The whole idea is to get the water out, right?
I mean, I think it's fair to say everybody on this commission and everybody on past commission has been 100% for getting as much water out as possible. I mean, yeah, getting water out has been a priority of mine, I can tell you that. I just want to know what we're getting ourselves into with this particular And again, if we got misinformation, we'll adjust accordingly, but that's what we were told.
Commissioner Thompson.
What's the utility district out there?
Cleveland?
Cleveland Utility
Yes, sir.
District? I don't know why they wouldn't. I thought it was high Washington. No problem.
I don't know if we'll send I'll ask Lori to send over, I think Brian Sells is the engineer. We'll ask them if that's something that's in their purview. But it was a unique claim, again, for the third time. If it's not accurate, we'll adjust accordingly, but that's what we were told.
Commissioner
Because
West.
you could imagine if it comes back and there's the landfill is part of the problem, we got a much bigger problem. But from what I've been told, I talked to the landfill people. They test every quarter, every 6 months, and they have to send their results. And everything that they've seen so far passes. That's
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think it's a matter of timing at this point. We're looking at ARP money. We're looking at the millions that's involved in that. And with that, TDEC's involved, others involved, then we get this separate request to go to another direction. And that direction is, let's just do it now. This one, we don't know how many of those situations are out there. So this is basically as a finance committee was looking at the timing of this, I think all of us want to give, as just been said, would want to give water to whoever needs the water if it's within our purview. But if we're using the ARP money first, then that money's we don't know at this point how much we're going to have to spend with that, and then what is available, whether it goes to HCI and how that's going. So that's kind of the purview of finance committee to look at the timing of this, and that's how when it came to this committee, I'm on that finance. Others are on the finance could speak for themselves with that. This is just another area that can be done in HCI at a little later point. If that's the only one, if there's 25 of these or 100 of these or 500 of these, then we do have a problem. So most of this is a timing problem.
Commissioner Hughes.
Mr. Chairman, it is a timing issue. And if we've already come to the conclusion that he's not saying his water's contaminated, why aren't we holding him to the point of testing unless we're just wanting to know ourselves? The other issue is if this thing does time out and we lose access to the ARP money, then this person will not have the funds to pay to run that water. So that comes down to it, because even if the ARP money is there, the property owner has to, or the property owners have to come up with 1/3 of that. Then you add on tie-in and so on. So just figure out the 1/3 of the 18 or whatever it is. We'll say 40 just to make it easier, and break it apart. And that's what we're in a race against. So why are we having him test for something that he's never claimed was wrong with his well? He's not saying it's bad. He just said he didn't drink from it.
Mr. Thompson.
One other question, didn't, City of Cleveland have, or Cleveland Utility, they have ARP money too? Didn't
I don't
they have
know unless-
ARP money? What's wrong with them doing it?
Commissioner Thompson, they're already agreed to pay half on that also.
They've agreed to pay half.
According to this Cleveland Utility, or the request, Cleveland Utility has already agreed to pay half.
Tell them if they're gonna serve water out there, they need to pay it all.
Commissioner Slater.
Lori, do you still have the document that was provided to us in finance last week?
I do, and I can forward that to all of you. And I'm trying to rack my brain to recall exactly what was written on there, but I did call Mr. Sherlin upon receipt of the application, and I did speak with him, and he did communicate to me that he did not want to drink his water due to the proximity. I mean, he said that to me, so it may not say it on the paper, but he did use those words and that language with me.
Okay. That'd be great if you could forward that to us, because that's the document that he filled out that we reviewed in the finance meeting.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Thank you.
Commissioner Goins. I doubt that anyone on the commission here knows, because we We probably haven't had one tested. One more.
I'd like, or if you could, wait, better. And well, if the water out through there, through the water there, they job.
It's not in the city, it's in the
It's
county.
not in the city, Howard.
Not in the city, but they got the water down there, don't
They do.
Cleveland Utilities. There's plenty of people that are not in the city that receive Cleveland Utilities water, but the city, they're not in the city. So I doubt very seriously the city of Cleveland is going to use up any of their
Probably.
funds. Cleveland Utilities, a totally different entity, will.
they? They put water down through there then, city.
I don't understand that question.
City water down there, but.
They don't have city water, they have Cleveland Utilities water. Which is-
Cleveland.
There's plenty, lots of residents that have Cleveland utility waters who are not in the city. I mean, I think Cleveland Utilities goes all the way out to Harrison Pike, I mean, way beyond the city line, and up in the Second District as well. That's been an ongoing issue, I think, for years now. They'll provide city water, or they'll provide, Cleveland Utilities will provide water lines. As we know, they're not so much on the sewer. You gotta be in the city to get sewer.
Commissioner Beatty.
I think if we're gonna test this water, it should go for everybody. Either should go for everybody. Why have one tested if we don't have the other people tested?
The answer to that question is because there was a claim that the landfill was part of the problem. Now, there's obviously quote unquote, they call it misinformation or what have you, what was said verbally or what was written. But we have had wells tested in the past. I think it was sulfur was in the well or something like that, about 5 or 6 years ago. But just the uniqueness of the claim is because
I know exactly where it's at, and I wouldn't drink water for nothing in the world.
I'll elaborate a little bit. If it turns out, I don't want to open up a can of worms. I truly don't. Is that Anfield had something, but that's a big if. Probably have a nice little conversation.
Commissioner Gilbert, then we're gonna put this thing to rest.
One more question. Did you say the city will pay for half of it?
According to the documentation
Utilities.
that, or Cleveland Utility, according to what I'm
Cleveland
seeing on
Utility.
here, on the
Yeah.
request, it
Yeah.
looks like they are.
And the agreement for our ARP money that we passed the resolution, whether it's Cleveland Utilities or COA Utilities, any of the utilities that we enter in, is going to be 50-50. Right? COA Utilities agreed, and they're currently working on a water project.
That's correct. Cleveland Utilities have agreed to fund
Up to 20,000,
50%
that's
up
right.
to 20,000.
But it was 50-50 up to 20,000.
Correct.
Right. There is a cap on utility.
What was the price on that?
It's gonna be
18.
18,000, 18,750, 18,750.
Total?
That's the total. But the
Ah.
part for the city would be 18,750, and then ours the same.
It has been placed on the voting agenda for next week. We can always ask for a substitute motion, and we'll try to leave it at that. You have anything else, Commissioner Hughes?
Mr. Chairman, I have nothing else.
Commissioner Alford?
Second district's doing well.
Commissioner Blake?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just one correction. We passed the budget calendar, and if we need to bring it up but I just need to change one date. If you'll look at your budget calendars, instead of the budget hearings, which all commissioners are obviously invited to, instead of it being on April the 13th, it will be on April the 14th, that Friday, instead of that Thursday. Just want to make that correction for you. Other than that, all is well in the 3rd District. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Collins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was contacted by Representative Kevin Raper about having an agenda item, or having a resolution placed on the agenda for next week. This is a resolution pertaining to a recent graduate from Bradley Central High School. Most individuals are familiar with this name, Ryan Howard, current WNBA player. Representative Raper asked that this is a procedural resolution, I believe, so that the state can deal with this since it's a state road. And this would be a symbolic name change recognizing Ryan Howard for her athletic achievements and accomplishments while as a student at Bradley Central High School. And I believe he has to work with the city on this to have a city resolution as well. And those two resolutions would go to the state before the state could move on this resolution. So I'd like to ask that this be placed on the agenda.
Yeah.
This is a road in front of Bradley Central High School. It's a portion that is in front of, it says Grove Avenue, southwest of Fairway Drive, southwest. And again, this is not a road name change. It's more of a symbolic. You would have signage recognizing this individual. So there's no address changes, no road changes.
Would still require all businesses and property owners that receive mail to get new stationery and stuff like that, wouldn't it?
According to Representative Raper, it would not.
You want that placed on the agenda next week?
Yes, sir.
Tell
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Winters.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This past Friday, the Legal and Legislative Committee met to discuss a number of issues and voted a few recommendations for this commission. First, we voted to recommend sending a formal letter to our legislators regarding departments exceeding their budgets. We want their direction on how to handle any overages. I placed this recommendation on the February 21 voting session, Mr. Chairman.
So done.
I have a second.
Oh, go ahead.
We have a second resolution. We voted to send our legislators a letter to consider the process for awarding broadband grants to internet service providers. We learned there are times when an ISP may not fulfill the full terms of the grant and they receive a 5% penalty. The committee believes it may be prudent to impose a greater penalty or to prohibit the ISP from participating in the next grant cycle if they fail to fully satisfy their grant responsibilities. Mr. Chairman, I placed this recommendation on the February 21 voting session.
Thank you. Got another one?
Thirdly, yes, we were busy. We also deliberated the use of the DUI reserve fund and voted to recommend we use the first $10,000 for indigent monitoring where appropriate and to fairly and equally split the remaining funds to misdemeanor probation and adult drug court. They are, by statute, the only departments that may appropriately use these funds. I placed this recommendation on the February 21 voting session, Mr. Chairman.
So done. Any more?
Lastly, you're looking for that one. Lastly, the committee voted to recommend requiring a fiscal note be attached to resolutions at introduction, except for the American Rescue Plan Act Fund 128 resolutions. We believe the fiscal note will provide for us pertinent information prior to voting. Mr. Chairman, I placed this recommendation on the February 21st voting session.
You all were busy. Thank you.
Yes, we were.
Anything else, sir?
That's all.
Okay, Commissioner Gilbert.
We had a septic tank meeting up here the other day, and it was really good. There was a bunch of contractors that came in. Matt Heath from RC&D done an amazing job presenting exactly how this program works. We had requested TDEC came, and the young man with them was not able to be here. Would have been nice to see him here. I'd like to thank Commissioner Beatty, Lefford, and Rogers for coming, and surely appreciate you coming participating. It was nice having you. Boy, it was really nice. But that's all in the 4th District at the moment.
Commissioner Thompson.
Only thing I have is, Mr. Collins want to address the commission? Tell if you got any money for paving this year or not.
I don't know if any of you or all of you watched the governor's State of the State address the other night, but there was some pretty good news in there for the road departments. It's going to put $300 million into local roads. That's your county road departments. that means a lot of money to the road department. And I've always felt like the road department needed a shot in the arm, if you will, to give them a booster shot. And that's, you know, we talked about it the other day about, I said, if I had $1 million, I'd probably spend it on striping roads and putting down the raised pavement markings and things like that. But how much money it means to Bradley County is about $3.5 million. And the way it's structured right now, and I'm sure they're going to be maybe changing how it's handled, but right now it appears it's going to be handled same as your state aid money, which has its regulations on it, how you have to go about it. You have to go through the state highway department to work up contracts to spend this money. Well, like if you wanted to start a bridge, if I wanted to build a bridge, and I decided today that I had the money and everything to do a bridge, it's probably going to be 2 years before you even get a shovel in the dirt. I mean, that's how slow the wheel turns. By the time you go through all your environmental issues, getting your permits, getting your contract, your engineering companies and your contractors and everything. So what I'm saying is, if we have to go through the same hoops that we have to go through now to get a state aid project worked up, it's slow. I mean, there's 2 guys in Chattanooga representing 24 counties. And that's considering that some of these counties, smaller counties especially, they may not do a state aid project for 3 or 4 years because they don't have the matching money or for whatever reason. But if they don't hire more help to handle the situations about getting your projects up and going, I don't think we can spend $3.5 million, and it's going to take a few years. But anyway, I look for them to change some of the guidelines on that and be able to put them on the fast track, if you will. But anyway, that is great news for the road departments. Anybody got any questions about that?
Commissioner Blake does.
From what I understand, in years past, state aid works with a reimbursement model. In other words, you out of your budget pay for something, you send an invoice or some kind of documentation in support of, and then it's a reimbursement. So you have to have the money already in your fund in order to do the project, and then you go through a contract process, and then they reimburse you after completion. Is this $3.5 million also going to work that way?
I assume as it stands right now,
I know
it probably would.
That means $3.5 million above your current budget?
Yeah.
All right.
The total including our match, which our match to spend what they're giving us would be $78,000. So we're buying over $3.5 million for $78,000. So
I guess where I'm leading is if Mayor, you correct me if I'm wrong, if we have to put an extra $3.5 million in your budget above what you already have, what's about $7 million or something like that in there, then
no, I see what you're saying, but I don't think so.
Okay,
I don't think it's going to work that way. The way the email that I've got put it was that July 1st, you were going to have $3.5 million put into your state aid fund.
So they're going to wire the money into your account, and you can then there isn't a reimbursement. You just spend the money that they put in your account.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm assuming that's the way it is. It's going to be.
So second thing, and Commissioner Thompson's talked about this a couple of times. At a blue sky here, to stripe the roads in Bradley County, how much would that cost?
Repeat that question, please.
You've asked a couple of times if we would start a striping campaign or all the roads, how much would that cost?
To stripe every road. I did some figures the other day. And I don't know what percentage that you would put 4 lines on or 2 lines, but I was figuring about $1 million. You know, that was the figure we threw out the other night.
$1 million? All right.
But I figured $1 million you could put stripes on every road. Some of our roads are too narrow to put the edge line.
Absolutely.
I'm going to say $1 million would stripe every road.
Thank you, I appreciate it. That's
For
good
some of
info.
your subdivision roads, you know, we don't put stripes
Sure,
on them
sure.
anyway.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, that's all I have.
Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you very much.
Okay, one more thing, and I think I'm right on this, I may not be, but in the resolution the other day to change the name to Hickory Road, I think the resolution may have said to change the name of Hickory Road to Freeman Circle, and you're actually only changing a portion of that, Hickory Road to Freeman Circle. I don't know if that. Yeah, those specifications, she says, was on the name change form, but and I may be wrong, the resolution may have said, a portion of it, but I thought I was right in saying that, that it just said change the name of Hickory Top. Period. So,
We're looking up, she's looking it up right now.
okay.
Have an answer.
I believe that the county commission did not pass a resolution regarding this name change. Rather, they approved the form as it was presented, which included the exact specifications of the portion of the road to change the name.
Okay, the form does indicate that only 1,370 feet was
That's
to
what,
be changed.
that's what was passed.
Okay, I wasn't sure about that.
All right.
Thank
you. Thank you. Okay, Commissioner Goins.
Fifth District's doing well, but I would like to thank Tom Collins for getting that tree cut down over there at the graveyard. And, I mean, I know you didn't do it personally.
Right.
That's what they told me, but
Okay.
I do appreciate you doing that.
You're welcome. Glad to do it. Today, as we speak, Candies Creek Ridge Road and Old Georgetown Street is a three-way stop. It went effective this morning.
Will make someone happy.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Okay, thank you very much. You have anything else, Commissioner Goins?
We've got our new road list made up, so we'll present it to you today.
Commissioner Slater.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Education Committee will meet here in the Commission Room on Thursday, February 16th at 11:30 a.m. And that's all I have today.
Great. Commissioner Mason.
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, the 2023 Bradley County Road List will be up for a vote next week. Thank you. That's all I have.
Commissioner Ledford.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a couple of things. Did go to the school board meeting. I think it's advisable to every commissioner to at least attend one or two of those. Those are very informative. Ms. Lynn Valls is a big advocate over there. I listened to her, and I just think we owe it to everybody to go to at least one. I also went to the septic tank installer meeting. I want to thank Scotty Gilbert Commissioner Gilbert for putting that on. That was great. Very informative, like you say. And I want to mention briefly about Relay for Life is April the 29th. And Dwayne Blue, which is a good friend of mine, Madison knows him there. I've been working with him for many, many years at the hospital. We're doing the Relay for Life. It'll be around the courthouse. And he asked me to be like a representative for the commission. And there are several others that are going to represent, some of the different CEO of Tenova is going to be there, Blood Assurance Executive, Dr. Kruger, several others that are going to be there kind of just emceeing, helping with that to raise money. But the reason I mentioned about me being a representative for the commission is I'm going to be entering a ice cream sandwich eating contest. But guess what? I need money. So I need donations for that, and I might as well start now. I know it's April 29th, but the more donations I get, I need at least $500, so I need y'all's help with that. And third thing is, I want to recognize Madison Torrance here for Karis Medical. He was many years an ER physician at the hospital. Me and Madison go way, way back when his grandfather, Mr. Torrance, we called him Mr. Torrance. I don't even know his first name. But anyway, he was our administrator there back in the 80s. And Madison went to school and actually trained through the OR where I worked at. And we had some good times back there in those days, doing our little jokes and water weenies and things like that. So, but I just want to thank Madison coming here. I think they're going to give us a presentation here in a little while. Madison does great work, and I want everybody to kind of use your service. I know it's a great service for Bradley County, for the indigent people, the ones that can't afford health care, things like that. I think this is a great program. And one more, John Thomason from the Veterans Home, he's a friend of mine. I'd like to recognize him also. And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Rogers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Did you say, Commissioner Lefford, did you say it was it American Heart Institute that you're raising money for, or who is it?
Well, I call it Relay for Life, but it does say American Cancer Society. But it's always been the Relay for Life where we've done it at several places. They've done it at Cleveland High School, then they've done it around the hospital. Started out around the hospital, you know, where everybody walking. Actually, that was a 24-hour thing. But
If, Ms. Moultrie, if you would, make sure that I could donate to this, but if you'll agree to eat as many ice cream sandwiches until you get sick, I'll donate $50 to it just to watch that. So, no, I don't have anything today, Mr. Chairman. Everything's going great in the 7th District, but I do look forward to watching Commissioner Ledford try to eat as many ice cream sandwiches as he can.
We need a good photograph when he starts throwing up. That's what we need.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, vanilla ice cream sandwiches happen to be my favorite, so I'll make sure I go without ice cream for a couple of days.
We're all expecting big things from you, Tom.
Yeah, it won't be good.
We'll now go to the agenda items. Agenda item A, Commissioner Slater, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I passed out a brochure to everyone at their seat, and it's a brochure that talks about Karis Medical Clinic. And if you're not familiar with Karis Medical Clinic, they began in 2013 as meeting the needs of unmet adult dental care in Bradley County. They have since added medical care to what they do. And today we have Dr. Jim Olson and his wife Kelly. Dr. Olson is the dentist. Dr. Madison Torrance, I think he takes care of the medical piece. And we also have Hannah Thurman, and Hannah's going to come and talk to us for a few minutes about Karis Medical. And Karis is located in the 5th District on South Broad Street, if you're not familiar where it's located. Hannah, thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Commissioner Slater. Thank you, hello, Commissioners and Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Commissioner Cry, for inviting us today. My name is Hannah Thurman, and I'm the Marketing and Development Coordinator for Karis Community Health. And we are a registered 501c3 here in Bradley County, so we're a nonprofit organization. Thank you. We are located right next to Capitol Tire on Broad Street. Our medical clinic is located at 256 Broad Street. And at the medical clinic, as Commissioner Ledford said, Dr. Madison Torrance is our director there. At the medical clinic, we specialize in primary care, preventative health, and disease management. And then at 254 Broad Street, that started in 2015 is when we opened that building up. And Dr. Jim Olson is our dental director there. And there we do comprehensive dental services. So that would be extractions, fillings, cleanings, root canals, crowns, partials, dentures, and we have just recently started within the past 6 months doing mini implants. The population that we serve is the Bradley County residents, just due to some funding that we have received, and they are the uninsured and underinsured. And the reason we say underinsured is some people do have Medicare, and they don't have the dental coverage attached to that. So we can see them. They have to be over the age of 19 years old and live at 150% or below the federal poverty line. And how we figure out if they qualify for our services is everyone must undergo a financial screening, and that has to be done in person. And on the back of your brochure, it says what everyone has to bring in with them. So they have to bring in proof of household income, proof of residency, so just a piece of mail or a bill that they receive, a photo ID because we do want them to be who they say they are, and any insurance cards that they do have, and $25 cash or money order to cover the first appointment. Some important dates for Karis is in 2011, the Caring Place under Miss Reba Terry. She conducted a community needs survey, and the number one need in Bradley County was adult dental care. And so through that, Dr. Olson was approached, and he was working in private practice at the time, and he started doing extraction clinics that started in 2013 at the health department. And at that point, we were fully funded by the United Way under the Health Endowment Fund. In 2015, we opened up our dental clinic, and we were doing that full time. And then we were about 55% funded by the United Way. And in 2018, Karis Dental becomes Karis Community Health because that's when we started working to get the medical portion open. And in 2021, Karis Medical opened their doors. And you'll see how we're funded on there is like 55% by the United Way, and now we are 43% funded by the United Way through the Health Endowment Fund. Some of our other funding we receive are some state grants. Our biggest one is the Safety Net grant and private donors as well. So at the medical clinic, we have over 500 patients, and since we have opened, we have dispensed over $227,000 worth of medication. In that $25 that a patient brings to their first appointment, and then for every appointment going forward, unless it has a lab cost attached to it, it's $25. And that includes a visit from the dentist or doctor, medications, labs, X-rays, EKGs, anything that you could get in a physician's clinic. And we have dispensed over $227,000 in medication. We provide about $40,000 a month in primary care services, and you can see in that $25 fee what includes in the medical. And then at dental, we have provided over $9.3 million in dental coverage. And so we do those comprehensive services, and most appointments are $25 unless they do have that lab cost attached onto it. But I will say, whenever you come to our clinic, it's a whole lot cheaper than going to your normal dentist. And what is important for you to know that the $25 fee only covers about 10% of our total cost. And in the next slide, I think it's really neat, and I wanted to share this with you guys, that we see people throughout Bradley County. So 1% is from 37310, and if you're that district, could you raise your hand if you service that area? Okay. And then the next one is 37311, which is our primary area that we serve, and then about 11% 37312, and 8% from 37323. The total medical appointments we have, you can see on there, is 1,077, and dental is 2,766. But whenever we went back to look, the unduplicated appointments that we have is 1,140. At this time, I am going to ask our Executive Director, Kelly Olson, to come up and share just a few testimonies.
Commissioners, we really appreciate you having us here today and just hearing about the service that we're providing to the community. The main reason is we just want you to be aware that we're here so that you can pass that along, and just to be aware of the work that we're doing. I just want to give you a little backstory about Miss Vicki Bush, who allowed us to share her story. She came in to see us, and in her first appointment, she's right there on the left there, and was a victim of domestic abuse. She did require dentures, and when we got those placed for her, of course, you can tell she did her hair, she put her makeup on, and she's smiling pretty big now. A lot of tears were shed that day, and one of the things that she said to us was that she could not wait to confront, or at least speak with, her previous abuser in court, and just kind of show him that, she had improved herself and that she was moving on with her life. One of the things that Jim and I often say is that, we're fixing someone's smile, and for most of us, we probably really don't realize what a huge change that can make in a person's outlook, in their self-confidence, and despite the fact that they can now eat better, but then also in their ability to get gainful employment and to become successful members of the community. So I'd also like to turn it over now to Dr. Torrance, who wants to speak with you about one of our medical patients. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners, for having me. I've had the privilege to grow up in this community, was born in Cleveland, raised in Cleveland, started working at the hospital when I was 14 years old, worked for over 20 years in the emergency department here, 10 years as the medical director. So I truly feel blessed to be a Bradley County resident. And as of 3 weeks ago, I moved from Ooltewah, and we are now in District 3, just like, 0.1 miles from here. I want to introduce you to Michael Crisp. This is a 39-year-old gentleman who showed up in my clinic without any health insurance, who had taken a fall from a ladder. He's a painter and landed on his head and broke his neck. Spent 4 months in a, let's just say, a hospital, not in Cleveland. Was released without any follow-up. Was living in a wheelchair in an apartment in Bradley County. Somehow heard about our clinic and showed up. He did have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, all of which were very easy for me to get under control. But what my office actually did was a ton of different things, including providing him with some clothing. You can see in this second picture, he's got on flip-flops. We got him some shoes. But more than anything, we were able to get him physical therapy, which he desperately needed. And the first picture on your left there is me and my office manager, Lana Jones, with him in a wheelchair. And with just about 6 weeks of physical therapy, this was completely unplanned. He showed up to get his blood pressure medication refilled and walked in our door. The tears were plentiful. One of the reasons I show you this is because one of our goals at Karis Community Health, both dental and medical, is to get people back to work. And Mr. Crisp is actually painting plans to get back to work fully. There are over 13,000 people in Bradley County who do not have health insurance. So many people fall through the cracks. And I used to, frankly, hear them and also talk about people and say, people just keep coming back to the emergency room. They just keep coming back. But oftentimes that's the only place they can get their medication. So we just want to make you aware that we're there for people. Like Hannah was saying, we've now supplied over $250,000 worth of medication. We have insulin in our clinic. We have diabetes medications, blood pressure medications. The only thing we don't have is controlled substances. We don't do that. So I'm very proud of what we do and very proud to serve in Bradley County. I would love to give each one of you a tour, and that's part of what I do and what we do. And so if you just give us a call, the number's there on the pamphlet, be happy to walk you through. We have always strived to provide.
Question?
I don't have a question. I would just make a comment. Organizationally, it's an awesome, thing, and it's great, but you're only as strong as your people. And I know Dr. Olson and his wife Kelly and their heart and their passion. I don't know you, Dr. Torrance, but I would imagine you're just in line with them, and their heart and passion for our community is incredible and great, and it's a strong testament to what makes this organization so strong. So thank you guys for what you do and how you contribute. Just the Olsons are great people, and I'm sure you're right there with them too. So thank you guys for what you do.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. Agenda item B, Commissioner Mason.
I brought that up a while ago. Will be the next week, 2023 Bradley County road list. I'll be bringing that up for a vote. Thank you.
Agenda item C, Commissioner Milam Blake.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Last week, when Finance met, Cumberland Securities representative came and discussed the interest rate swap agreement and how to proceed. Finance Committee voted to recommend approving a resolution authorizing the termination of the interest rate swap agreement with the Public Building Authority of Sever County, Tennessee, retaining the certain of bonds, the proceed of which were loaned to Bradley County, Tennessee. Mr. Chairman, I place this resolution, which you have on the February 21st work session.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, in addition to that, I would like to say as well that the gentleman, the consultant, came down from Knoxville and addressed Finance Committee, answered a number of our questions. If we have any further questions, I hate for him to come down here and we don't have any questions. I mean, I know Knoxville's 2 hours or something like that. But if there's aren't going to be any questions, I was going to let him know that we're good to go. But if there are any questions, he's happy to come. So I was thinking if any member of the commission has any questions, we'll let Lori know by Thursday. I think that's a good time. If no one has any questions, then we'll let the gentleman know that he doesn't have to make a trip down here for nothing. But if you do have questions, fine. He's happy to come here and answer questions. I can give you a brief synopsis of it. It's basically we're moving from the LIBOR interest rate program, you want to call it that, to a new program. We kind of have to do it because LIBOR is going away by June 30th, 2023. I look at the mayor. So it's basically we have to do it. Do we want to pay $1 million to move over or half that? That's pretty much what's going on. So it's basically the interest rates on our bonds, the variable bonds, not the fixed rate. We just had to come off with a LIBOR index onto, they call it SOFX or something like that. So thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's all I have.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Communication from the audience, please. Anyone? Yes, sir. Yes, you can answer the question. I think, well, I need to refer this, I think it was HCI committee. And, Lori, can you get this one head on?
The HCI committee met and deliberated over all 7 applications that they received for this year's HCI grant. They believed that the request, while the request and the mission of Mr. Thomason's Veterans Honor Guard project is near and dear to every member's heart. I mean, it certainly is. But they felt like the request for, I believe, uniforms was included in the request, as well as insurance and fuel. They felt like that probably did not meet the scope of our HCI capital projects benefiting health, wellness, and quality of life.
John, let me add, Lori's just at the meeting. It's HCI. I mean, she's not the one making these decisions. She's the conveyor of bad information to you, but she's not the one making those decisions. Commissioner Blake.
Yeah, let me just add as well. We take that recommendation, and Commissioner Lefford's on that committee as well. And we go with that. I will let you know that I've asked that from here on out, the HCI committee inform the applicants at the very beginning if they felt like the the applicant, what your project it was, that you be notified way in advance. There's supposed to be layers or filters, if you will. This should have been, about lack of word, caught at the very beginning, and you should have been informed, in my opinion, that your request didn't fall within the guidelines. Instead of waiting until the end of January to find out, I think the first round is around September when they look at applicants. So from here on out, applicants, not just yourself, anybody, should be informed that the request doesn't meet the guidelines way in advance. So I apologize for that, and we'll do better on getting that part done. As far as the guidelines go, I have my opinions, and that's the reason why we have the civilian and with now Commissioner do this. So the guidelines are out there. What I think is a capital project and what somebody else may be two things, and they take a vote on all this, right, and score and all that, is so that in theory, what's supposed to happen is that the quote-unquote politics is supposed to stay out of it, so that we don't get into our little pet projects for one district or another district. If that's not going to be the case, then maybe we got to rethink the HCI committee. I just want to share that with you. Thank you.
Commissioner Ledford.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to be very diligent with speaking of this. Lori, is there any way that we can get, because I know in the committee, when you fill out your 7-step application to qualify, John, you qualified, and that's the reason you were accepted in. You have to be a 501(c)(3), you have to be, a project, a nonprofit, and things like that. And it just happened, like they said already, that it just didn't fall under everybody there. I'm not the only member of this committee, of the HCI committee, and therefore it was because it did not lie under health, wellness, and quality of life compared to the other ones that we had. That's probably the reason. But Lori, I would ask that, I thought that there was letters sent out. Lisa, my understanding was that not the case?
Letters went out last week, Commissioner Ledford, yes.
Okay, so you did get a letter coming to you, it hadn't got there yet, is that correct?
I would assume so. Have you received your letter, John? No? It's.
Yes.
Commissioner Winters.
I think, John, it had to do with brick and mortar. They were looking at brick and mortar projects, capital projects. You had a car or truck, whatever. We were not involved in that, as you figured. But when the report back to us was it didn't meet that criteria because you had uniforms or you had other things, you were decking out your crew. So, yeah, so there's none of us here that does not think your work is not merited for whatever we could do. So there's nobody in here that doesn't think your work is outstanding. But what it amounted to is, and that's what we were saying, that should be clarified at the beginning. You should have known at the beginning, then you could have taken that stuff out. But once it's done with it. You're the military, man. You know, once it's done, it's done. But within that, that's where we said we saw it at that point. I think that's what Lori's saying, is that it didn't meet that criteria. Now, what was said by our other Commissioner Ledford, that should have been done at the first place. So we're saying that too. So we as a committee put that together, recommending that to be done. So we'll make that better. Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. Anyone else desire to speak in the audience? All right. Next meeting, voting session Tuesday, February the 21st at 12 p.m. here at the courthouse. Education Committee, February the 16th at 11:30. Orba Notes of Love, February the 18th, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Pew Street, 155 Pew Street. County offices are closed Monday, February the 20th, in observance of President's Day. And Relay for Life, April the 29th.